Welcome back. You're watching India Tonight. I'm Shabani Garg. Joining us from Chennai is my colleague Jude Sanit. Now, Jude, lots happening in the IT services sector with TCS actually saying that it will acquire 100% stake in MHP, which is a subsidiary of Porsche AG, for an enterprise value of approximately 3,574 crore rupees. Now, the acquisition is a part of a broader 5-year strategic partnership valued at 1.25 billion euros between TCS and the German sports car maker. So this is like a big deal, in fact, when it comes to, the AI acquisition front for TCS.
Absolutely, an industry-defining acquisition, one might say, Shabani, because let's remember, as part of the collaboration, TCS will establish a dedicated AI mobility center of excellence for Porsche, and this center will focus on industrializing AI use cases across the automakers, manufacturing, engineering, operations, and customer experience segments. In fact, my colleague Sajid Mangat gets us a roundup of what this deal is all about.
TCS has entered into a strategic arrangement with European car maker Porsche for acquiring its unit consulting arm, basically for 320 million euros. The entire deal involves acquisition of the consulting arm, which is MHP Management, and along with that, there is also a strategic deal that comes in with these for TCS, wherein Porsche would be will become a client for TCS and will have a potential revenue of 1.25 billion euros over the next 5 years. The entire deal will require TCS to also onboard 4,500 employees of Porsche and create a center of excellence in Germany. It will also allow TCS to get access to over 300 customers, which includes Porsche. Porsche accounts for nearly 40% of revenue, 30 to 40% of revenues of MHP, and then other clients, which includes the Volkswagen Group, and there are other clients from a defense and aerospace industries, which account for other revenue. The deal also, as I said, is acquired for 320 million euros and has an enterprise value that's roughly around 5 times EV by EBITDA, because this MHP has a EBITDA of nearly 10% and what TCS is acquiring is the entire operations of MHP in Germany and some other countries where MHP has its base. It's also accretive in nature from an EPS point of view in the first full year of operation. The deal is expected to be completed by end of the calendar year, and the revenues will be consolidated with TCS in the fourth quarter of FY27. The first full year of FY28 will be EPS accretive for TCS, and TCS is hoping that because MHP is currently on site, it will move some part of it to offshore and help in improving the margins as a whole. So there would be an initial impact of margins on TCS there for initial period before the entire integration happens, which will take at least 12 to 15 months, and then it hopes to get back to the same level of margins, which is about 25% going forward. So the deal, as I said, is going to add roughly around $1.25 billion euros to TCS over the next 5 years, and it will make sure that the European operations, which currently is around 10 to 15% of the revenues, gets a boost, because it's another 10% additional revenues coming in from the automobile point of view for TCS.
Right, to discuss this and dissect, the details of the deal, we are now joined in by Piyush Pandey. He's a Senior Vice President, Equity Analyst, IT Sector at Centrum India. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now. Now, 320 million euros for MHP. Help us understand this number and the kind of investment that TCS is putting into this deal at a time when generally we have seen the automotive IT consulting sector is facing sort of a slowdown at this point in time.
See, the acquired company has a revenue of close to 790 million euros with a EBITDA margin of around 10%. So broadly, the deal takes place at EBITDA of around 5 times, EBITDA revenue of around 0.3 to 0.4 times. So I would say very reasonable valuations. But this is what I would say. Many IT companies have increased acquisitions in recent past, primarily to fill gaps in the portfolio, mainly to get new marquee clients. And this is what even like say Wipro or Infosys have done. And so probably I would say this is in line with the trend. And Indian IT companies are looking to acquisitions to both fill the gaps and in fact drive overall revenue growth.
Right. Piyush, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the valuation of the deal itself. I think the deal is being valued at about 1.25 billion euros, and that's the 5-year partnership. Now, how meaningfully could this actually contribute to TCS's revenue growth going forward?
See, TCS has a revenue of close to 30 billion euros, and with a deal size of close to 1.25 billion euros over 5 years, this comes to around annual revenue of close to 0.25 billion euros. So I would say in terms of revenue from this deal, maybe like say close to say around 1% this deal can bring, and maybe close to say another 2% from this acquired business. So net we can see around say close to 2.5-3% to total revenue of TCS. So not a big delta mover, but I would say in the current times, this is what IT companies have been doing. Yeah.
Let's also understand, does this deal grant TCS a preferred partner status, so to speak, across the wider Volkswagen group as well, or just, to deal with Porsche?
No, so see, this acquired company also serves Volkswagen and other manufacturing companies. So I would say apart from Porsche, it also gets access to other market clients in Europe. So see, broadly we can say that with this current portfolio, those market clients may be long-term value, but in the near term, see, operating margin can get impacted because the acquired company has a EBITDA margin of just barely around 10%.
Right. Piyush, what's the template that we're looking at here? For instance, the creation of that AI mobility center of excellence. Could this now become a template for other automakers to also, partner with other IT companies? Could we see similar deals in the pipeline with a few other big names? Is that very much on the cards?
Yes. Like so, we can see that most of these European automakers, they have been looking to partner with IT services company for their tech transformation as they compete with Chinese and American auto companies. So I would say this is what has been happening say over the last few months also, and this deal is sort of like a extension of that trend which we have seen say over the last few months.
What will it mean for the larger Volkswagen group? There have been conversations about them looking for partners in different markets, and also there has been question raised on trimming down their non-core assets to manage several costs, including the EV costs for that matter. So what will the deal mean for Volkswagen?
See, we expect that many of these European automakers, they are looking to trim down their operating cost. They are looking to become more nimble, especially as this auto segment becomes more competitive. And this is where I would say Indian IT companies come into picture as they drive automation, as they drive AI adoption, plus to an extent like these auto companies become AI ready. Like so, I would say this is sort of part of the trend which has been ongoing over the last few months. Yeah.
This point, help us understand, as TCS that, set foot in Europe in a big way, like almost a decade ago, how will this deal help them gain a larger footprint in the European market, especially when it comes to auto and, offering their services to other auto companies in that region?
See, till now, auto has been a very reasonably small segment for TCS, whose focus area has been like, say, BFSI, consumer tech. And in a way, of course, this deal would help to increase the mix of automotive and manufacturing segment. And in a way, I would say the vertical-wise, they become more diversified. And plus, see, we also have to understand the context that growth environment has become very, very challenging, especially for the tier 1 IT companies. And in this environment, acquisitions are sort of like one of the lever to drive growth. So I would say we can say that in this competitive space, IT companies are now looking to acquisitions to drive revenue, especially when organic growth has sort of slowed down.
Right. Now, Piyush, how should investors view or look at this deal? Is it a bit of a one-off, or do you think it's evidence that TCS is perhaps becoming more aggressive with its acquisitions? What's the viewer take? What's the investor take on this?
See, broadly, TCS has been very reluctant to do acquisitions historically. Only last year or so, they acquired one company called Coastal Cloud, and they were again announced these major acquisitions. So probably we can see that now TCS has become more aggressive compared to what they were in the past. And I would say, but of course, it also comes to the margin which the acquired company will deliver, and plus the integration risk also come into picture. Like, so as of now, I would say this is a positive sign. But overall, investors are looking for organic growth which the TCS can deliver over next, say, 2-3 years.
Mr. Pandey, thank you so much for joining us today on India Tonight and helping us understand, the TCS acquisition of an arm in Porsche.